What I wanted to do was really talk to you about what our hopes are for these assemblies, and describe to you a little bit about that. So I think the most important thing is that we hope that you are going to help us with giving our organisation, Nest, a set of recommendations that we can take away and use when we go about making decisions about investments. Our principal way of trying to make decisions is that we say we want to act in the best interest of members. And I promise you that that line, best interest of members, features a lot in the conversations we have within Nest. I hear it a lot. It's very sincerely held. And that means that we want to make good decisions, the best decisions we can, that really give the biggest benefit to our members, to you. And that's not as easy as it sounds, because we're constantly coping with complexities and dilemmas and different things that we could do with competing ideas and different ideas that we have to make to cut through some of that complexity to get to a good decision. So when we do that, it's really important that we are clear about how all our members can feature in those decisions. And we think about values. What values would our members want to have in making decisions, investment decisions in particular? What considerations should we have in mind when we make those decisions? Have we really been thoughtful enough about those? And do we understand what members would want us to understand about their preferences, about your preferences? And what does good ownership look like? We have significant ownership of the organisations we invest in. We can have an influence in the decisions they make and the things they do and don't do. And we need to work out how we exercise our influence with them. And what would that influence be? And then, importantly, what influence should members have in the decisions that we make? We need to make sure that we are accountable. We do need to make sure that when it's appropriate, we do think about members' intentions and about the decisions that you would make if you were in our shoes. So we are really curious about how it might be possible to bring members into that decision making and to explore that. And we'll continue to take advice from expert people like Amelia and others that can help us do that. So what's the impact that you might have by participating in these events? Well, this is the first of these events, so we're learning, so bear with us as we learn. But we're very excited about the prospect of that learning and what it might teach us about how we can make those different decisions. One of the things that it seems to me that we can be optimistic about is it will help us shape something called our Statement of Investment Principles, which sounds a bit technical. What does it mean? Well, it's about our beliefs. What are the beliefs that we should have that we are able to state, to write down and express, that frame how we make investment decisions? And you'll hear more about that in due course. But we really are hopeful that we might think differently, having heard you, about those investment principles and those beliefs that underpin the way in which we make our investment decisions. And importantly, we just need to keep trying harder and harder to understand our members and the diversity of our members and the range of views that you hold. And for me, there's always been no substitute for talking to real members. And I'm just so pleased that we're finally doing that in this way, in this innovative way. And I believe that if we do that, we will make better investment decisions. We will be better at finding a balance between all of those dilemmas and acting in our members' best interest. I suspect that that eventually will lead to us doing investment differently. So that for me would be a good test. Are we going to do this differently in the future? Because we've heard from you and you have had an impact in that decision making. So it's very real, this, for me. You know, as I sit on the Nest board, which sounds very grand, you know, it's a group of people that want to be in the room to help frame and make some of those decisions. We're going to do that better if we understand what your beliefs are, what your views are about those investments. And I also hope, and I do hope, that this experiment, this innovation will develop, and it might become part of a better way of running Nest in the future. I'm really hopeful that that's where we'll find ourselves. Because again, I believe that hearing from real members is richer and better than people like me making assumptions. And so that's why we're here. So there is a wonderful opportunity for you to influence this, to help us, please, be thoughtful about the decisions that need to be made. And the world is a complicated place. The range of decisions that we could make on matters that are difficult and controversial sometimes, and the dilemmas and the choices between them are hard. We'll do a better job with this kind of help. So I'm just incredibly grateful that you've shown up today, and I just hope you enjoy it, and know that what you're doing matters. So I thank you very much indeed. Thank you.